Pete, just your feelings, your emotions today on the appointment of Mark Jackson.
Well, relief and excitement, to be honest. It's always a traumatic thing changing a manager. I really like Liam Manning, had huge respect for what he achieved last year, and so we were very late to make the move. But as I say, I wanted to give him absolutely every chance to turn it round. Obviously, it wasn't just his fault. So many things went wrong, but we needed a new voice, we needed a leader, but we also needed to maintain the style, the exceptionally unique style that we have as a football club. It's what sets us apart, and so that was a big part of the process. Mark manages to tick all of those boxes, and I have to tell you, I gave him the job straight away in the interview.
Well, just tell us about that. Why did you?
As you listen to him, and you've got your own tick boxes in your mind about what you'd like to hear, what you'd like to see, what comments you think somebody should be making with the situation that we're in. And he managed to tick off all those boxes, including things like the community and the supporters, and getting the connection back with them and the importance that they can bring. Not many people talk about that, particularly when you're talking in interviews. It's all about the football, but he saw it much bigger than just the role in the club. But equally, he's very pragmatic about what we've got to do in the here and now. So we've got all the ideas of what it can be, and I'm very excited by the way that he sets his teams up, how he likes to play. Absolutely fits with what we're about. But he's also got an idea of what he's going to do in the short term to help make us more difficult to beat and to hopefully give us a few more opportunities to score. And it's those marginal changes now that could make the difference in our results, and that's what we're looking to get over the Christmas period.
And it was always going to be a slightly trickier remit to fill, or a job to fill, because you want to keep the head coach model, so certain managers would be ruled out, but you also wanted somebody with a bit of experience.
I don't know if that's true, that certain managers would be ruled out. I think there's not really an enormous change in that some of the responsibilities for putting the squad together they're shared between the head coach and the sporting director, rather than the manager having to do all that.
I guess some managers wouldn't.
I didn't find that being as half the problem that certain people think. I think that most of football is changing towards a sporting director, head coach role, and if you want to be in charge of a football team, picking a team, helping shape a team, working what the pattern of plays are going to be and what the style is and who the personnel are going to be, that's still the same job. That's still the most important job that was done by a manager as well. So I don't think that narrowed our aims at all. But what I think did is what we are about. In the past, I have occasionally veered off our unique identity. We call it the MK way. Everybody laughs about that outside of ourselves. Well, actually, that's not true, because most of football know about the MK way and know that we're a sort of club that plays a certain style of football, a possession-based football, the sort of football I describe it as being like you would watch on the Premier League, maybe not as quick as we saw the other day with Leicester or as strong, but it's similar style of football, and I'm keen that we stay true to that, and that does limit the amount of people that you could believe would deliver that kind of football, and that's why you're seeing around football so many more of the under-23 coaches and things going into their first jobs, because they've been trained up in a way where the coaching, the style of play is very important to their development, and I want them to bring that here. So those were more the limiting factors than what the title is.
Jesse Marsh was very complimentary of Mark, of course, and the work that he's done right through the ranks, from under 15 level all the way up to the first team. And that work with those young players could be absolutely key for MK Dons with some of the players that you've got at the club.
Well, you're absolutely right again, Luke. That's another big tick box, is what has Mark done with young players in their development? How important does he see that? How does he cope with taking over such a young squad at this football club? And as I say, he ticks all of those boxes with great confidence. I mean, the biggest thing is leadership, and I think when you speak to him, you'll see the confidence that he has, the ability to lead from the front, but taking everybody with him. He's very much a team player. He was a captain in his day as a player, and of course understands the trials and tribulations of EFL because he's actually lived it. So for all of these reasons, as I say, I felt very confident giving him the job, and I'm excited to see what he can do. We all know we've got to improve. Can we make those marginal improvements here, there, on the pitch that can actually affect our results? And that's what we're all looking forward to. While I'm talking though about, you mentioned Jesse Marsh, I've got to mention mention everybody at Leeds, Victor and the sporting director, everybody, who have been quite amazing, to be honest. They absolutely understood how important it was for us to get something done quickly, because we've got so many games coming up over Christmas. Now you've got to remember, as a Premier League club, they've got players coming back from the World Cup, they've got their own season about to kick off again. Stakes are so high in the Premier League, and I'm really grateful that a big club like Leeds could make sure that we did things really professionally, thoroughly, quickly, and with positivity. And so I'd like to thank them.
You've already outlined that there'll be a bit of money or there'll be movement in the transfer window. You've obviously, that's part of what's going to happen over the next couple of months.
Well, there's no doubt we've got to improve, and you can only get so much, as we've seen, out of the team that we've got. So we've got to look at that. Obviously, Mark gets a chance to address everything as well. But in January, we will be looking to do a few things. Now, again, where we are in the table, you can't always do what you'd like to be able to do. So I want to have that note of caution about doing what we really can, and what we'd like to do and what we can do. They might be two different things, but at the same time, again, what I'm finding with our football club is that even where we are in the table, we're still a very attractive place to come to, because again, people know that we do play a certain style. We are a family club. We are a nice place to be. You can have fun working at the MK Dons, as well as having the challenges that go with that. And so for all of those reasons, as I say, looking forward to next week and getting on with the job.
Just finally, for Mark, there's an opportunity. We spoke, didn't we, in detail maybe a week or so ago, about the club being perhaps a little bit broken at the moment, just one or two things. Do you think he's the man to fix it then? He can fix what's going on?
Well, I think the way he talks about needing the whole team, and by the whole team he means the club, other people in the club, not just the first team, but the academy, and of course the big one, the supporters. And I think just recognising that, I think is a good step forward for us, because I think he'll make himself more available. I think he'll be higher profile, and I think our supporters need that at the moment, because communication is something that we have to continually try to get better at this football club. It's not always easy to do. There is just so much that goes on that you want to get out there, and then you don't, you forget, and you think everybody knows anyway, and half the people don't, and so these are the trials and tribulations. They're a lot worse when you're losing, Luke. There's no doubt about that, and I definitely think that if he can help us on the pitch, I'm certainly sure he'll put his effort in to make sure we reconnect across the club, particularly, as I say, with the most important people, the people that are there all the time, your supporters.